Are you curious what cards are the most expensive in Rise of the Floodborn? Well, you're at the right video if you want to know. What's up, Rebels? We're going through yet another one of these finance videos where we talk about what are the most valuable cards currently in the marketplace for Rise of the Floodborn. One thing you're going to notice when we go through this list of top 10 is it is more valuable than the first chapter. For some reason, currently in the market, the first chapter cards have actually become less valuable than the current cards. However, I will say for those collectors out there, I do believe that as we get further away from the original release of the game, that those first chapter cards will see a value increase. We also aren't expected to see restocks and reprints continue to happen like we have throughout this month, so at some point in time, the scarcity of the first chapter will rear its head and we will start to see some of those cards go back up. But until then, let's rejoice in the Rise of the Floodborn value that we have and see what cards out there are the really most valuable cards. We'll start at number 10, and number 10 is Mufasa, Betrayed Leader. This Mufasa card is a great amber card, and it's used in a lot of Snow White decks, and it's used in some Steel Song and various top meta amber decks. It's also a legendary, which is one of the reasons you see it being worth so much money. Right now, this is running at about $9.75 for its market value. Coming in at number 9, we have a card that, again, ran in many of the meta decks that involve Ruby, especially the Ruby Sapphire deck that uses Popsicle, Lady Tremaine. Lady Tremaine comes in and immediately allows you to banish a character, but here's the kicker. The opposing person must choose what character gets banished. Therefore, you can get around Ward. If they only have one character out with Ward, you can make sure that character ends up banished. Whereas with Maleficent Dragon, you are the one that has to choose it, and therefore if they have Ward, they're able to avoid you banishing them. This one, there is no avoidability to it because they are the one that has to choose. Lady Tremaine currently comes across at about $10, and she is number 9. Number 8 is Alice Growing Girl. Another legendary that we have here. Alice is seeing quite a bit of play as well inside of different meta in Sapphire, and she's a great low-cost card that is also inkable. Her market value right now is around $11.25, and if you are lucky enough to have 4 of them, let me know, because I certainly don't, and most of my friends don't. This card coming in here at number 7 is a outstanding riser. This card, not many people thought it was excellent card at the very start, but now we're seeing it be played in most Ruby decks. Scar, a legendary card who just is able to continuously attack and kill, especially when played in that Popsicle deck when you use the Popsicle to heal it, or maybe you drop a Gumbo Pot in that deck to use it to heal, or Magic Flower, or any of the other various items that Sapphire has that can heal. This Scar is coming in at about $11.50. Coming in at number 6, Cinderella Stout-Hearted. When this card debuted inside of the news, I know our channel specifically talked about how this card seems somewhat broken, and we were very surprised at the fact that they made a card so strong. The ability to shift on at turn 5 and then have resist 2, making it that you actually have to hit for 7 just to kill Cinderella in one hit. The 3 lore, this card is so strong. It's a super rare, much like Lady Tremaine. The fact that it's just played constantly inside of the meta, including the top deck in the meta, Steel Song, is the biggest reason why this card's seeing its value stay high. This card is around $11.75. Also $11.75 coming in the 5th spot is another card that when it debuted we said very strong, very overpowered, Bell Hidden Archer. This card, with the ability that it lets you discard the other opponent's entire hand if they attack her, is huge. She is also a legendary, which adds to the rarity, which adds to the price value, because Cinderella and Scar, I would say, are definitely more meta-used than this Belle, but the fact is, the rarity and the beautiful artwork does bump this Belle up into that $11.75 range. Coming in at number 4, we have a card that I actually have yet to have. I haven't pulled this card and I don't have it. Beast Relentless. It's a legendary card and a lot of people do use it inside of Emerald decks. I wouldn't call this card super meta breaking from what I've seen, but the value on it is $12.50. I think the rarity reason is the biggest reason why we're seeing such a high value with it. This is a card I don't actually expect to stay super high valued. I expect it to fall down the rankings a little bit as time goes on. Coming in at number 3, we have another super rare. This is our 3rd super rare in this set with the Rise of the Floodborn, whereas if you remember from my first chapter video, only 2 super rares were in the top 10. This set actually has 3. Arthur is extremely useful inside of the Amethyst meta. If you are playing a bounce deck, Arthur is a must-have. Arthur allows you to remove a chosen character, and you gain 2 lore when that happens. This is when he quests, allowing you to basically quest for 3 lore every time, despite the fact that it only shows 1. Arthur is coming in at about $13.50. And again, this card was a card that was probably undervalued some at the very beginning of the release of Rise of the Floodborn and has since only climbed the charts as people have seen its excellent play. Coming in at number 2, and this is where your minds might get absolutely blown. We have a rare, that's right, just a rare card in Cinderella Ballroom Sensation. This deck is the biggest card in the Steel Song deck. She replaced Ariel in that because she's a Singer 3, maybe not a full replace, but she's a Singer 3 that costs 1 and is inkable to get out. Turn 1, you can drop her out and you can start singing songs that cost 3 in turn 2. That's the biggest reason why she has such a high boost, because she's not that rare, even though she is a rare. I certainly have a full playset of her, but she's running right now at about $16.25 if you're trying to buy her on the singles market. I highly recommend just trying to trade with people for this card if you're really looking for it, because it's out there. It's a card I don't expect to stay this high. Honestly shocked myself. And coming in at number 1, and this is the most expensive card in all of Disney Lorcana right now, is Beast Tragic Hero. Again, a card that's extremely used in the meta Steel Song. Something we talked about with first chapter was how many cards are used in Steel Song, and we see here again there's at least 3 with possible, some people have put Mufasa in before, but there's definitely 3 cards here that are using Steel Song. He is once again a legendary, so he is a rare pull. He's coming in at a whopping $42 market value for just a raw version of him, non-holographic. Obviously, if you have a holo of this beast, it's a much more valuable card, and doesn't really approach the Rapunzel first chapter levels when Rapunzel was at plus $50. But the fact that this card is over $40 if you were to try to buy a single of it today is great value. I don't see this card taking too much of a dive, but like Rapunzel, you will probably see it dive some as more reprints come out. If you have one right now, and you definitely don't want to play it, you don't feel like playing the Steel Song deck, or maybe you just don't like Steel altogether, or maybe you don't like Beast, then, throw it up and sell it, because it's a hot card right now. This is the top 10 from Rise of the Floodborn. Are there any cards you're surprised to see on here, like me, Cinderella? Are there any cards that you would have thought would be on here because of their use in the current meta, or their, rarity? If you want to see more videos like this, let us know in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, or more videos building decks and basics, go ahead and look here, and quest on, my friends.